Yes.
Can you think of a move that's been made in the past couple of years that you would have done very differently, and what would it have been?
Well, I guess one that does come to mind immediately, there are actually two. The one that I will start with is the current use actually of Henry Mejia out of the bullpen. Henry Mejia being a 20-year-old pitcher who I believe has 3+ pitch capability. And so having the opportunity to see Mejia in the minor leagues taking a chance to develop as a starter would be something useful, something I think would benefit the Mets, if not in 2010, in many years to come. So that's something I think that's vital. Also would like to point out the Scott Kazmir for Victor Zambrano trade has been widely panned, but the question is inherently why? And for me, the simple answer is Scott Kazmir, being a very good prospect, would not be untouchable in my administration. But if you are trading Scott Kazmir, you're doing it, and certainly I will be doing it, with an effort to get an in-prime star. Trading for veterans who are under contract for reasonable terms or can be signed to long-term contracts that cover their prime years. In other words, Cliff Lee, were he to be acquired, would be signed to a contract starting next year in his age 32 season. Whereas Carlos Beltran, who was signed by the New York Mets, was signed beginning in his age 27 season. And so the difference between those two are immense as far as I'm concerned when it comes to committing long-term money of the organization.
So to just follow up, you're saying you would not trade for Cliff Lee this July 31st?
That is correct. If Cliff Lee would be available as a rental for very little in the way of prospects, then there's certainly something to be said for that. At that point, you can get Cliff Lee, you would give up next to nothing, and if you choose not to sign him to a long-term contract, he can help the 2010 Mets, and then he can turn around and be a couple of draft picks when he signs somewhere else this offseason. So that would be something that would be useful. However, to sign Cliff Lee and trade the farm for him would not be something that I would do, because I don't think it would be worth it for a long-term deal. Danny Haren is an example of a pitcher who I feel very differently about. Haren, who was several years younger and could potentially be cost controlled over the next few years. He has a contract that pays him a maximum of $12.75 million, and he's under contract for the next 3 years. That's a pitcher who I think would fit very nicely, both with the Mets and in particular with Citi Field. So he would be someone who I'd be going after by contrast. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I would once again encourage everyone to go to megdalforgm.com. Please don't hesitate to visit baseballthinfactory.org in the coming days for my listening tour, and I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. I'll be running every day, hoping to earn your support, and I thank you very much for your time.